What's good, YouTube? So today it's only me here. Speedy is not here, and so today we react to an Indian song which was actually Speedy's idea. So yeah, since he's not here, I think we will need to start right now. So yes, come.
Hey Tenshi, hi
Hey.
bro. Oh, why are you sitting in my place? Never mind, I'll just sit in your place for today. So, what do you plan on reacting to today?
Well, we'll be reacting on an Indian song like you suggested.
No, actually, change it. Today we can react to a Chills video I'm thinking of.
But why? You said an Indian song.
Well, Chills just posted a new video, and I think it would be unfair if we do not watch his video for Chills fans.
Okay,
so, you have started intro already?
Yes, I was going to start actually.
Okay, so what's good, YouTube? So, sorry for the lateness. Actually, I had to pay the studio fees. Tenshi here is not helping. Actually, you guys are not helping because you're not increasing the subscribers. So anyways, starting today's video, we're going to be watching Chills. But before that, shout out to Ravesh Ramson again. Lucky guy, please.
Like always.
And so, Tenshi, before we start today's video, it will be a Chills one. Here we go. Nice chill. Yeah. Oh, it's interesting to watch. Yes. So before we start today's video, I'm seeing a Chills video. What do you think it's going to be about?
Or something, paranormal or scary.
So without having said, let's start today's video.
Coming up.
Skip some scary videos for your own sanity, but these top 10 videos are something you need to see. Number 10, Basement Flood. If this man had stepped to safety a moment later, he wouldn't have made it. Published in September of 2021 by Eyewitness News, ABC 7NY. In this scary video, a young man is seen wading calmly across his flooded basement. The water is about to his shins. Just as he makes it to the stairs, the flood crashes through the outer wall in a terrifying rush, pushing everything to the back wall.
What if he was there just a minute ago?
All the furniture and other items in the basement crash against the supporting beams and bob around the rapidly rising water. The boy's mother and brother were trapped in the basement for a time as...
This scene right here reminds me of an Indian movie entitled Dead and Island. Well, the last scene is slightly like this, except that the water from the tank, it flows down. It enters a hotel room and pushes everything. But that one's a movie, and in movies they are trained to do stunts. So that one was just a movie. It would be comedy. In fact, it was a comedy scene. Like the water's coming, it breaks the lift, it pushes stuff, it breaks through the kitchen. But that's only a movie. This is why it was funny. But this one, if I were in that situation, I would be like terrified. Like just 1 second away from being thrown from going into the back wall. What about you, Tenshi?
Yeah, it's certainly a scary situation. Already the house is flooded, so it's a really difficult situation. This only adds to the tension of that situation.
Tension like Tenshi?
Yeah.
They had been trying to empty the water when things came crashing down. They were sure they were going to pass away, and they called family to say their goodbyes. However, thankfully, her husband and the boy seen here were able to help them escape. Though the process was arduous, the brother who was trapped struck a tile from the ceiling so he had room to breathe as the water rose rapidly, while his mother clung to a boiler on the other side of the basement and eventually escaped out a window. This narrow escape is a reminder of the quick and sudden dangers of flash floods. The mother, Janice, is quoted by the Daily Mail as saying, "We're definitely going to live differently, enjoying everything. Every day is precious. I'm just happy everyone is alright." Number 9, Ghostly. Who wants a ghost making a cameo in their video? Cross-posted on Reddit, this throwback shows Kylie encountering a ghost over a decade ago. Kylie is dancing in the video and pauses for a moment, which is when this mysterious guy creeps into frame over her shoulder. The guy moves into view and seems to be reaching for something before he pulls out of frame. Kylie turns around because she sees the figure on screen, but he's no longer there. The whole thing is very freaky. creepy. According to commenters, Kylie appeared on a podcast called Ghosted and spoke about this experience. A quote from Kylie in the description of the video says, "This was extremely scary to me, only because the ghost in this video looks so much like my ex Billy, who was in Iraq at the time this video was made. Is this a profile of a ghost? And is this ghost playing tricks on Kylie? I guess this mystery will remain
I don't know what to say here, but like he said, he's in the rock, so it's possible they could have done it for stunts maybe. But given how that this was done over a decade ago, it's highly unlikely.
Maybe the guy is dead and his ghost is haunting her. Ooh, scary.
Yeah, it's, well, to be honest though, watching it like this is not going to be that scary, but imagine being in that situation, like, you see someone, suddenly it's scary. I don't know, Mia, what I would be doing in that situation. I think I'd panicked. What about you, Tenshi?
Well, we have to check my surroundings first to check that, it isn't a real person actually, they're just trying to scare me. Then I would freak out if
unsolved.
there is no one.
Number 8, Evil Ghost. This Jinn Ain't Playin', published by Deranged Sajib in May of 2021. This Arabian ghost
May
hunter
2021.
captures a Jinn on camera while inside an abandoned building. A creepy robed figure crosses the room and enters another, but part of its robe still trails behind. The cameraman approaches the robe but finds it's a discarded piece of clothing, and the Jinn is nowhere in sight. Then a loud bang is heard. The Jinn is later found in another room where he stands facing a corner while something on the ground sends smoke into the air. As the room gets smokier, a strange whisper is heard, and the robed Jinn gets more and more obscure. Then suddenly he darts to the side. The cameraman runs after him, but in the haze, the Jinn has vanished. Where to, though, we can only guess. As he seems to have reached a dead end, the cameraman finds the Jinn again later sitting on a high ledge, and in another clip, he hears a horrifying scream coming from a separate building. He goes to investigate but finds nothing.
Oh.
Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah.
The Jinn is then seen in a fire. He is ascending from the flames, becoming angrier and angrier, so angry that he throws something at him.
لوين أقرب؟ لوين أقرب؟ وين؟ وين؟ أمير موت.
Things get weirder until the cameraman finds someone hanging upside down. How could he be hanging like this? It has to be paranormal. The Jinn, standing still in the corner, starts laughing manically, and toward the end of the video, he starts to move.
برد رجله. أحمد. بسم الله. أحمد. نزله.
Did these two make it up?
What do you make of this video, Tenshi?
Well, it could definitely be staged, in my opinion. Certainly also because of the last two parts, which.
The fire, I agree.
Yeah, and also the dude hanging upside down with the Jinn.
So how do you explain the dude hanging upside down?
Maybe some, special effects. They use like special shoes.
Me, why I'm suggesting is false because he has taken it at different scenes. So
Yeah.
because it is cut, I could say perhaps it would say like it wouldn't be difficult for us to do one. I mean, like for example, you are just videoing this room here around. Then 1 second you see me, when you cut it, I have already run away. Then you put it on play. It's kind of easy, and this one is May 2021, so it's quite recent, obviously. And however, given the fact that he was saying Bismillah also, Bismillah means like when you say that, the devil will not come with you. But in this case, the devil was still with him. How is this possible?
Oh, how?
Who? How? Why? When? Who?
Out alive. Even if they did, they will be scarred for life.
Look at this dude
Number
is like
7,
chilling.
Light It Up. Knock knock, don't answer. This is just one more in a creepy line of doorbell videos. This one perpetrated by a woman in a dressing gown carrying a lighter. While under the influence, a Liverpool woman approached a home where she was caught on a doorbell camera, holding a flame up before she then went and lit a trash can on fire. The trash can produced toxic fumes in a home that was up for sale. No one was living there at the time. While we could theorize why she did it, apparently she doesn't even know. The
It's
perpetrator
crazy.
pled guilty to arson and was
Absolutely
sentenced.
nuts.
I would not say she's crazy. I'd say maybe she's burning. When he said burning the garbage, I think he's helping to burn the garbage. She's helping to do a good deed.
Yeah, but the garbage trucks, you know, they pick up the garbage.
Yes, but why you?
And also, by burning garbage, you release more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
But even you are alive, even you're releasing carbon monoxide.
Yeah, but not in large quantities.
So yeah, he accepts.
Like
Yeah.
you too, you also release carbon dioxide.
I said for you carbon monoxide. Anyways, so yeah, indeed, I'd say maybe she's kind of mad, but I don't know myself because if she said she doesn't know, you can say it's not exactly scary, but I'd say maybe she requires mental help.
It's
Health
unexplainable, more than scary.
Sentenced to 27 months behind bars. Number 6,
Oh, yeah.
haunted restaurant. Order up. These
Yeah.
restaurant workers
Almost
certainly
3
didn't
years.
order a haunting with a side of poltergeist. Published by Lady Boss in April of 2020, this compilation examines a strange sequence of events at a haunted restaurant as Lady Boss attempts to communicate with the ghost or ghosts that are said to haunt this place. Footsteps are heard in another room.
Then are you here right now?
Later, as she talks through a spirit box, the ghost says, "Here is all I'm doing." When asking if the spirit passed away in a car incident, what sounds like a car horn beeps through the speakers, and the spirit says yes.
There's a horn honking.
Later in the kitchen, security cameras capture things moving mysteriously on their own. While one cook is chopping parsley, a metal container nearby shifts to the left. At a later date,
Could have been
one of the
special
chefs places a
Yeah.
set of tongs down on the counter, and a moment later
Strings?
it spins round,
How
falling to the
strange.
floor.
Maybe there
On
was someone
another
on the-
occasion, a chef
right
is
in
in
the
the
camera,
kitchen on
like,
his
what?
own. When he goes to the back door, which leads outside, he looks around, but nothing is there. But upon closer inspection, you can see movement in the crack of the doorway. Lots of strange things continue to happen. A metal container moves across the prep table on its own, and later a pot lid moves by itself, startling the cook who is standing nearby. There's definitely something in this restaurant, but what it is
So the lid moving, I'd say maybe this one can be paranormal,
Maybe
but the rest no.
I have a opinion it's definitely staged. You know, for the lid moving, they could have used like magnets since most of the things are metal
So where would you presume he would have put the
inside the clothes.
clothes? So how would they move it?
By moving, they induce force of repulsion on the magnets.
You saw anything like that happening?
Hmm?
You saw it around?
Did you see something not like that happening?
No.
Exactly.
But I didn't see his body moving also in such a way that it would influence.
They didn't see that the dude was like turning and at the same time the thing was moving just before this point.
Perhaps.
Exactly my point.
anyone's guess. Number 5, let me in. Someone's trying to get inside. Posted on the r/ghosts subreddit
Okay.
by throwaway 615618. The redditor writes, "The door handle to our deck jiggled by itself last night. Security camera footage shows the event in question. The girl and her cat seem to hear the sound of the jiggling handle as they both look up at about the same time. On closer inspection, the door's handle is seen moving up and down. The redditor said she noticed it in other footage
okay, fine.
earlier that night as well. And the strange thing is
Just
that
wait,
she
Steve.
leads ghost tours. Did a ghost follow her home? Or is some creeper trying to get inside?" Redditor LilB1190 tries to calm everyone, writing, "Don't worry, the ghost can't even work a doorknob. Let's hope it stays that way." Number 4, Peekaboo. Originally published by 3AMR, this is not the hide and seek you signed up for. The video shows a couple of guys wandering through an abandoned structure. It's not clear what they're looking for until they find it. Between two cement walls, a creature peeks, its eyes glowing, its face skull-like. The creepy figure is there for just a moment before it quietly disappears behind one of the cement walls. Was this what these guys were looking for? If it was, I'm sure they would regret everything. Number 3, Poltergeist Sleepover. Seek and ye shall find. Published by Seeker of Ghosts. This ghost hunter gets zero sleep during his night in this scary and mysterious haunted apartment. Communicating through light and noise sensors, the spirit reveals itself straight away. Soon after, the door to the outside, which was wide open, swings slightly closer but remains ajar. Although this could be explained by a draft, let's see if the spirit interacts further. While exploring the home a bit more, the man enters the toilet and then a loud noise is heard.
Просто туалет здесь.
It's not clear from where. He scans the ceiling but can't find the source. As he's setting up a tripod to capture any activity in the room, activity occurs right behind him. It sounds like a piece of metal is being clanged against something.
Сейчас возьму телефон и хочу походить.
He leaves the room, letting the tripod sit there, but soon the camera is moving on its own. It appears as though the spirit is knocking against it. Later, as he is wandering around the home again, he asks the spirit to give a sign, and the spirit answers in kind. A clanking against the floor is heard. In the next room, you can see what the clanking is. A chair next.
He set up a tripod, he went walking around, and well, it has not stated if he stays alone, but most probably he's staying alone. What do you make out of this video, Tenshi?
In my opinion, some of the parts are definitely fake. Like the parts about the door opening by itself. Since,
This one can be staged.
we didn't see the moment when it opened. We have only seen the aftermath of that event. Also, well, it's very convenient that when the guy was out of the camera's range of view, the tribus suddenly started moving. Very convenient. And yeah, even the loud sound he heard in another room, could have been done by someone else. Again, in my opinion, if this was staged, it would have definitely been with another person at least.
But had there been another person, we should have at least seen a small trail, like a shadow or something.
Well, because the door, he didn't instantly turn the camera away, but he waited some time, then turned the camera away, which would have given the helper time to run away. The same for the loud noise, which he actually, yeah. And also the tripod, he could have done it by himself, since he was out of the range of view of the camera.
Next to the desk leans back for a moment before the front legs land on the floor. The camera on the tripod moves again slightly. A little later, that same chair falls over and a wooden stick is thrown from behind the camera.
Yeah,
But he could have done.
definitely staged.
That he could have
The
done.
ghost hunter hears it from the next room and attempts to open the door, but it seems to be jammed. He finally gets it open. Later, as he attempts to get some shut-eye in this haunted home, the spirit goes crazy. A loud noise is heard, followed by a noise like something is trying to get out of a closet or a cupboard. He awakes and hears more banging. Then he gets up to look for the source of the sound, but again cannot find it. When he tries to go back to sleep, the noises are heard again. Even scarier, a faucet is turned on. You can hear the sound of rushing water.
The ghost is taking
After
a
a
shower.
sleepless night, the ghost hunter can draw one conclusion. There is a poltergeist in this house, and it doesn't want him to be there. Number 2,
Well, I never seen
1970s
Proof of Someone
mystery. When responding to an old friend's scary story about how he may have been an accomplice in a 1970 life-taking, the Paranormies team ended up in an abandoned town of Piney, where they dug deeper to find out the truth. They published their findings in May of 2021, entering an abandoned room of what we assume is this site of the alleged life-taking. The team hears something jiggling. It seems to be coming from the door.
Dude.
The key is moving in the lock and continues as they approach it.
Hang on.
And it just stops.
They look around the corner to see if
What
there's
could have
something
done that?
behind the door, and the jiggling
Maybe
stops
something
instantly. Later, as they're trying to communicate
I
with
didn't know.
spirits in the vicinity, it sounds like a
That's
creepy
right.
disembodied voice says, "Mommy," although the guys don't seem to hear it or make note of it in the video. Well, they continue trying to speak to the spirit and ask if bad things like life takings happened here. A bang is heard in the entrance of the home. Shortly after, 3 strange noises happen in a row, what sounds like a dog or a wolf howling, a click, and then some rustling.
It.
Is your name Dennis?
They hear a noise in the other room and capture a creepy shadow on the wall. The shadow is very distinctly a figure. When they shine their flashlight there, it disappears. Another noise is heard, and they think it's the spirit
So
of
where's the shadow
Dennis. They search the home and ask Dennis to make another noise if he's here. He does.
Dennis, if you're in here, make another noise.
Continuing their search, they hear a bang on the roof.
Yep. Oh my.
Dennis is getting louder and more formidable. They entered a room where they saw something standing in the doorway, but noticed it for only a split second.
There was something standing here, right?
What's that?
You saw it too?
Yeah.
Something was standing right
It
here.
looked like something was standing right here.
In another room, they hear distinct footsteps upstairs.
Like she's saying he's so emotional.
That's footsteps.
They go upstairs to investigate, and then it seems the spirit has moved downstairs.
Whoa.
Hear that?
Footsteps again. They shout to the spirit to make a loud noise if it's Dennis. The bells go off. As the bells continue to ring, the spirit box says Ryan, which is one of the investigators' middle names.
They're still moving. They're still moving. Ryan. That's my middle name.
It said your middle name?
It said my middle name. Look, the bells are still moving.
They hold the EMF meter to the bells, and for a moment it spikes. Then the spirit box says Emily.
Emily?
Emily.
They also hold the EMF meter up to an old abandoned shoe. Again the meter spikes. They note that the spirit box says kicked when they saw the shoe earlier. With a Ouija board set out later, a glass breaks loudly in the next room.
Out of here.
Oh.
When they hear another noise, they ask if it's Dennis, and he responds in kind. Then, for the finale, something falls, glass breaks, everything breaks.
Oh, dude. Go. Get up. Go.
The boys rush out of there as John says it sounds like everything is falling apart. Even as they reach their car, you can still hear glass breaking in the house behind them.
Oh man.
It's time to leave Dennis and the mysterious life-taking that happened here to its own end. I wouldn't go back to that house ever again. I've got a challenge for you. Since you've made it this...
I wonder what kind of challenge has got for us. So, yeah, what do you think about this one?
Well, it's a 1970s case, but honestly, one thing you need to know about these paranormal investigators is that most time they don't really get proof. It's quite rare to get proof, and well, the EMF meter, all this stuff leads me to believe that most probably it could be a ghost.
Yeah, the only part I don't really get is why the ghost would know about one of the investigators' middle name.
Then basically, he was allegedly one of the accomplices.
Maybe.
Maybe. Then she doesn't listen to anything.
Far, why not like
Right.
this video and hit subscribe in the next 5 seconds
9.3K.
because I upload 4 new
4
scary videos every
Why did you
week.
say I don't
If
listen
you're
to anything?
curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram
answer.
at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that follow button to find
He's got over
out.
millions.
Number 1, Mud Volcano. The natural world
Mud
offers some
volcano.
amazing phenomena. Colombia is home to several active volcanoes, including a couple of what are known as mud volcanoes, also known as mud domes. These formations are not true volcanoes by definition, as they do not produce lava and are not always created or active as a result of magmatic activity. They have produced mounds which visually resemble volcanoes, however. With mud spewing out from the stack, the town of Arboltes, located in the northwest of the country, has one of these occurrences, albeit bearing a resemblance of a large pond or even a tar pit. Residents were alarmed when
It's
another
funky.
eruption-like event began just before Christmas 2019. As the video shows, several massive bubbles break the surface, disrupting the top layer. While understandably anxious over the developments, experts declared there was nothing to be afraid of. The dome was simply releasing gas built up in its depths, not at a rate to be alarmed about. According to readings, it was methane gas being emitted as a result of recent seismic activity, so it's good to hear these residents have nothing to worry about. But I imagine seeing this without that information would be quite terrifying, to say the least. What are you afraid of? From Shadow.
What are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of Tenshi.
I'm
And
not,
you?
I'm not afraid of anything.
Not even dogs?
No.
Cats?
No.
Well, it's rumored that one is scared of their own kind. So with that having been said, guys, comment.
That's why I'm scared of dogs.
Comment down below which part of our video you like the most. Comment if you want to see any more skits, if you want to see us talking, if you want us to roast each other. Comment anything below. And with that being said, guys,
We'll see you next time.
Bye.